You are now listening to Mike's Opinion. Logic Unleashed.
Why do you believe what you believe? Have you ever thought about that? Like, really, why do you believe what you believe? Just listen. That's right, we're going to talk about it. This is Mike, and this is the Mike's Opinion Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Right off the top, please like, subscribe, follow, all of that, and on all the places. iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, everywhere. But hey, have you ever thought about why you believe what you believe? Belief is deep. It's real deep, right? Have you ever really given it some thought? I talked to several people before I did this episode. And if you listen to past episodes, you know I told you this one was coming. And most people that I talked to really, matter of fact, all of them were like, like, you know, they turn away and they look to the side and they think is what they do. They think. Because many of us don't think about why we believe what we believe, you know, and it goes down to some real fundamental shit, because your belief system is instilled in you early. Like by the time you're 8, the most of the stuff you're going to believe is already beaten into you, and it's just constantly reinforced. And I don't mean beat into you. Hopefully you did not have that kind of upbringing, but even though I did get my ass whipped, but it really made me correlate consequences to actions. And growing up on the streets of Harlem and the South Bronx, running around do or die Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, running around Queens, you know, just running around New York, yeah, get my ass beat, let me know. And when I say ass beat, I'm talking about spankings with a belt. It wasn't really all that frequent, but it was effective when it happened. And it is, you know, what it is. It made me think. And that's why I'm here. And I'm not dead, and I'm not in prison. I'm not strung out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hate to say it, I'm thankful for the beatings. Now, could I have been given those same lessons without a belt to my bottom? Perhaps. But that's for another podcast. Corporal punishment and discipline. But belief, when you really give it some thought, belief in the things that we believe, especially fundamentally, like politics, you know, our political beliefs, our religious beliefs, our beliefs about money, our beliefs about race and culture. Those are all formed very early at the fundamental level, and then they're built upon and reinforced by friends and family and the media and society. But have you ever really given some thought why you believe what you believe? And do you have the courage to change and adjust those things? I'll give you an example. A friend of mine who will remain nameless, you know, before the pandemic, right? COVID-19, SARS-2, coronavirus hit. We used to go out, right? We'd go eat, whatever. Have a few drinks somewhere, whatever. But whenever we go have a meal, he would order water or tea or whatever he was drinking, and we eat our meal, and he would never touch his drink. Now, I've been knowing dude for a long time. So I asked him one day, yo, man, I noticed that you don't ever drink with your meals. I don't care if you're eating something spicy or fried or dry bread or whatever. You will not take one sip. And he was like, yeah, man, it's just the way I was raised. You know, my mom's wouldn't let me drink with my meal. And it's just, like a habit now. It's just what he does. And I said, yo, my man, you grown now, right? You could take 8 sips in between every bite if you want. And he said to him, it feels weird because that's just how he was raised, and how we were raised and who we were raised by forms our belief system. Like I said, and then it's just reinforced and built upon. So your beliefs, why do you believe what you believe? That's why. That's why you believe what you believe. And imagine for a second, given the current climate of things, with the Black Lives Matter movement, and of course I'm black, so you can imagine how I feel about that. Listen to past episodes if you'd like to know. But imagine for a second if the beliefs of the racist, of the bigot, of the hate-filled people could be changed. How do you think that it would affect our planet? Huh? Yeah. Right? In a very good way. I'm sure it could be, it could be lovely if we can learn to adjust the things we believe. Now, when I wanted to do this episode, or when I thought about this particular episode, for me, I really want to discuss religious beliefs, because devout, dedicated, fanatical even, are some religious people. I know Bill Maher did a film called Religulous, which is interesting. But to me, it boils down to a choice. Of course, it's instilled in you early, and then you choose to keep perpetuating that belief, right? Now, for the record, let me give you a little backstory with me. I was raised Catholic, went to parochial Catholic school for grade school and high school. I skipped a grade in grade school and stayed high through high school. But made it. Graduated early, 16 years old. And, altar boy, communion, confirmation, there's all these things that come along with that faith, with that belief system. And I often remember, you can ask questions, kinda, but don't ask too many questions, and definitely don't ask the right questions. So, being raised like that, I started asking questions. I always have been a inquisitive, curious dude, and no homo, not that curious, not that kind of curious. As you know, I love women, if you listen to any of my other podcasts. But right now, as it stands, I believe something had to create this. Some power, some entity. I say that because there are so many things that have to come into balance for Earth to exist and for us to be able to live on it. Now, major religions: Islam, Catholicism, Baptist, Methodist, Lutheran, Jewish, and that's just some of the popular ones. There are many more. Not to exclude atheism or agnostics. I know I believe. My family and I pray every night, typically before bedtime, and we use the word God for lack of a better word. But when it comes to the specifics, I don't know. What do you believe? Now, I know many of those, or many of us, that were raised a certain way, and that has stayed with us. And if you question it, was Jesus real? Was he an alien? Was Muhammad? Well, we know Muhammad was real, but, the Islamic God, there's the I Ching, there's the Jewish religion, all, the Holy Land over there in Israel and Jerusalem. I don't know is the answer for me. Okay. I have not had any visits directly, like a burning bush kind of situation. I haven't seen, the Mother Mary in a piece of toast or a tree. I know I've been lucky, blessed, and fortunate in my life compared to others on a global scale or even here in America. I know that, especially as a black man. Okay? Now, so what do you believe? Is your God true? And why is that? Shoot me an email. Mike'sOpinionShow@gmail.com. Or hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, any place. Because I know there's those out there that you can't tell me my God ain't real, or this book ain't the word. And I'm not here advocating for Satan if he's real, right? Now, I can tell you I've been visited by many dead people that I know. And I know a lot of dead people. I know a lot of dead people. And I have been visited. And now, let me give you an example. Okay. I did not see an apparition, but I felt and smelled. When I was a teenager in Harlem, probably 14, 15, something like that, I dated a young lady named Kim. May she rest in peace. And Kim, after she and I broke up, got with this dude and was murdered. Killed. Strangled to death. Young. Okay. And now Kim used to wear the same perfume. About 20 to 25 years later, hadn't thought about Kim. I'm living my life. I got a little 1-bedroom apartment. No, you know what? It wasn't even 20 years later. Probably cause I was in my 20s. So it probably was 10 years later or less, actually 8 to 10 years later. But, I had an apartment and, little 1-bedroom apartment, but I had a king size bed and it took up most of the bedroom. And to my left are these little doors, sliding doors. There was a washer and dryer in there. And then to my right was a window. My bed, was up against the head of the bed was up against the wall. And I had a cat named Dusty. Rest in peace, Dusty. And I just lost another one of my cats, and I'm just 2 days ago, and I'm distraught still, to be honest with you. But anyway, my cat Dusty, gray cat, charcoal gray, used to sleep on my arm every night. Like he would sleep in the same spot, I sleep in the same position, regular thing, right? I'm single, and I'm just doing me, right? I had to go to work the next day. Out of a dead sleep, my cat wakes up with his claws dug deep in my arm. And it's dark because I like to sleep in the dark with no lights on. And I also sleep in nude, ladies. Ha ha ha. TMI. Anyway. And I'm like, shit, yo, what the fuck? So I don't know if he had a dream or if I'm dreaming the shit, right? So I turn on a little lamp in this tiny little stool thing next to the table, next to the bed. And he is up in the Halloween stance. And what I mean by that is his hair's on end, his back is curved and hunched up, his tail is straight in the air. And he is looking at something that is close to me on the bed, like say like between like my legs, like I said, I got a king size bed, and you know, there's plenty of space, but he is looking at something and he's circling it. So he walks over my tummy. He is looking at something. And then I smelled her. Without a doubt. Without a single doubt. This was Kim in my room. When I realized the smell, that's when I noticed the temperature. It was mad cold. Now, I don't know if you've seen that movie, The Sixth Sense, but whenever she was visited, it was called, I don't know how they know that or if they did research, but there was no smoke coming out my mouth. Kind of, you know, the earth smoke, like when it's cold, like in New York, them New York winters, you know what I'm saying? But, ayo, I said, Kim, and I felt a wave of, I know how this probably sounds, but I felt like a high, like, hello, I miss you. I'm good. I just wanted to see you. I didn't hear these things. It was not telepathic even in words. It was a feeling. Like I felt all of that. You know? And I maybe said a few words and then she left. The temperature in my room went back to normal. My cat chilled the fuck out. And I will never forget it. It was profound. It was a memorable, unforgettable moment for me. And I've had many instances like that. Now, whether they come to you in dreams, and one thing I know why this wasn't a dream, because I had to go tend to my arm because I was bleeding. And when I finally went back to sleep and woke up the next morning, the mark was still there. Marks, I should say. Because that cat scratched the shit out of me. But yeah. So, do I believe that there is something after this? Yes, I do. Do I know if it's heaven or hell? Or if I'm going to get 72 virgins? Or any of the myriad of belief systems and, you know, technicalities of those belief systems? You know, I know there's a common thread in a lot of the books, the Quran, you know, the Holy Bible and others, that there was a flood story. That's a common thing. And the more archaeologists find, I know in Russia, they just found spectacularly preserved, mammoth bones, woolly mammoth bones in Russia. You know, they're always finding new stuff that has been buried. And the true history of this planet, I don't think anybody really knows, because what's the oldest person alive right now? 110, 115, maybe. So we have stories that have been passed down through centuries. I remember that movie with Denzel Washington, where he supposedly was blind, and they were fighting for the Bible. They were fighting for this book, and the villain, because of course Denzel was the good guy, the villain wanted to get the Bible, and he had the only copy left. And the dude asked him why, one of his crew asked him, why is this book so important? He said, because it's about control, right? When you think about it, when you really think about that plate coming out, right? And the preacher driving a Bentley. Do they really need a Bentley though? And a private jet? Why they asking for money from you for God? I don't think so. But it all boils down to the fundamental belief system. Why you believe what you believe. And have you questioned it? Have you had the courage to question it? And I say courage because, something that's instilled in you since birth, it takes some courage to challenge that. And when I hear, if you listen to like 2 episodes ago, I was not very happy. I was talking about these kids getting killed all around the United States and in Chicago, and I let my feelings out about that, but for centuries and millennia, the horrors that have happened, you gotta wonder, where's these gods? Right? Where they at? And a lot of people say, well, God don't make no mistakes. And it was written this way. And, apparently it's beyond our comprehension to know why these things happen. Why a 6-month-old has to take a bullet in the chest. Why a 1-month-old has to get shot in her head in her house and killed. And the long, never-ending list of sad, tragic horrors that take place on this, our planet Earth. Where is God? If any of you know that have listened to me, that you know that I'd like utopia. And I guess that's only in heaven. So if utopia and everything is all good in heaven, what is Earth for? Is it a testing ground? Is it merely here to test you, to see what you do while you're here? For the amount of time you get, and you might get 5 minutes, you might not even make it out the womb, or you might make it to 110, 115. There's no real, we can average it. The average in the United States, I think, is 70 for men, 80 for women. So all these things that contribute to reinforcing our belief system. Right? Now, mass consciousness has been stifled. And I say that because about 10, 15 years ago, I wanted to start a website called massthought.com. I don't know if it's out there now. I haven't checked. But I was going to do thought experiments. And I remember a radio host on a radio show called Coast to Coast AM with the now deceased Art Bell. May he rest in peace. He would do some of these things. Like in drought-stricken areas, he would tell the audience to think about rain. And I'd be damned if it didn't happen. So we all collectively believe this earth and this realm of reality is real. Right? Suppose we had the power to change it. If it's not real, if it's on some Matrix type shit or some other, interdimensional situation. Right? Suppose we all believed that it was something different. Or suppose we all believed in peace. I am a member of CE5, which is Dr. Stephen Greer's UFO contact app and movement. Okay. And if you don't know anything about that, I'm going to do a series on UFOs coming up in the not too distant future. But I'm mentioning that because the belief that he has and that a lot of people have is that we can summon UFOs with thought. That sounds outlandish, doesn't it? I know. But he's been able to demonstrate it to a certain point. Now, I don't know how much he knows or how much has actually happened, but the power of belief. There's a saying that says, if you believe, you can achieve. Right? And I just want to give you a quick definition of the word. The word believe is to accept something as true, feel sure of the truth of. It's a verb. It also means to hold something as an opinion, think, or suppose. For example, I believe we've already met. A sentence such as that. Also as a verb, it can also mean, according to Merriam-Webster.com, to consider to be true or honest, to accept the word or evidence of. Right? So there's also belief. Belief is an acceptance that a statement is true or that something exists. It's also trust, faith, or confidence in someone or something. So when you believe something, it's deep. It is deeply ingrained in you, and you will fight for that. Have you ever gotten into an argument, or maybe more, like a fight or something, over something you believed? A lot of times it's, they say when you go to a party or, dinner party or whatever, two things are off limits: politics and religion. Right? Leave those things alone, because you don't know where somebody stands. And if you are on opposing sides, there's typically a problem. You immediately ostracize, or you go find somebody else to talk to. And these things are the things that divide us as humans. These beliefs that we are told not to question. Right? I learned recently that a black gentleman, and I forgot what city, was both a Trump supporter and a supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement. And my understanding is that he lived in a predominantly black neighborhood, and he was shot and killed dead. Because of his Trump poster in his window. I think he was a business owner. People are killed for their beliefs and have been for a very long time. So my question to you today is, why do you believe what you believe? I believe I've given you an answer for that question. My next question is, are you willing to challenge your beliefs based on facts and evidence? Now, for religion, it's oxymoron, right? What proof do you have? I dare say nothing. You have no proof. Now, you might say, I healed from this disease. The pastor put his hand on me and I healed. Or you've experienced something that appears to be miraculous. And I am not saying it ain't true. I'm not saying it's not true. And if you choose and make a conscious choice to choose to believe those things, hallelujah, more power to you. Okay? For me, I would like some definitive, dare I say, tangible evidence. Now, I've heard many slick-tongued preachers talk. Catholic priests, Baptist priests, Methodist priests. I've heard the evangelists. I've heard a lot in my days. And they slick with this. They will use that book to convince you of their version of the truth. And of course, they want you to support them and contribute to them. While I'm on the word support, please support the show in monetary fashion if you can. Give $1, $5, $100, $5,000. And like I said, like, subscribe, comment, follow, do all of that, please. I'd really appreciate that, helping the show grow. Right now, I'm still ad free. I've been approached by 2 people and I've turned them down. My show is continuing to grow. It's about 4 months old, and I'd like to keep it ad free, if at all possible. So value for value model is what I like. If you find any value in my podcast, I'd appreciate it if you support it. Thank you. I'd like to get new equipment and a lot of things I'd like to do with the show, but it definitely costs money. Yeah. But these slick talkers, will tell you that just you being alive is the miracle. You alive, brother. The air you breathing, the lungs, your heart is beating. It's all a miracle. And it very well may be. Now, like I said, it's about the specifics for me. Jehovah, Jesus, Buddha. I don't know who specifically. And maybe it's just one entity that goes by many names, right? But just like different languages, different belief systems, they all put a wedge between us as global residents of Earth. And this is my opinion. I'm Mike, and this is Mike's opinion. So don't get your panties in a bunch. That is figuratively speaking. I have nothing against panties or bunches. So there has to be, in my opinion, something that created this. Now, when I say this, we just sent the Perseverance to Mars. Yet another rover is going to Mars today. It launched today. It's going to take about 7 months to get there. When I say this, I mean the universe, right? Because just in our solar system, there's these planets all in balance. Our sun and our moon heat and cool our planet just right. So we have this 365-day year, this 24-hour day, and boom, we're here, right? And this is just one solar system, one system within the Milky Way galaxy, which in itself is vast. And then you have billions of galaxies. I can't create a tree from nothing, or even a seed for a tree. Okay? All I can do is assemble and disassemble with parts that are here on this planet, right? Okay? So the entity, let's call it God. And there are many religions, like in India, that believe there are many gods. The Greeks believed there were many gods. Those with powers, right? Even aliens, right? They come in these ships. Many think those were our gods because they had powers and technology beyond anything we have now. But if something created this universe, which to my understanding is endless and ever expanding, the power it takes to make that is nearly incomprehensible. I mean, the power to form all these planets and stars and, galaxies and just here on Earth, the vision and imagination to create such diversity of life. Frogs, hogs, goats, all the fish in the sea, all the ocean life, the birds. I mean, there's so many things living. Just the insect world alone to me is so fascinating. I am in awe and constantly fascinated living here on Earth, and I take none of it for granted. But I have questions. And I will say right now, regardless what name you go by, God, if you can hear me, I know you got a lot to listen to, but if you can hear me right now, please use me. Show me yourself. Reveal yourself to me, and I will become your greatest champion. Let me know who you are definitively, and I will shout it. I'll shout it. You know, I really will. Because if nothing created this, then what is this? What is this reality? What is this earth? What is this solar system? What is this whole thing about? You know, is it just a thing? Huh? Some kind of thing that we, reside in, that we're immersed in, we can't escape. I often wondered sometimes if that's why suicide, and I'm not advocating suicide, please hear me out. But if that's why suicide is forbidden, because you throw off the order of when you're supposed to die. Now, scientifically, they say there's no new energy. There's no new water on the planet. The same water's been here. It doesn't escape. The same energy. And if we are energy, then when we die, logically, our energy goes somewhere else. And for those that believe in reincarnation, which is another deep belief for many, and I've read some compelling stories about reincarnation, maybe we just go somewhere else, right? But then if that's the case, where are the new souls coming from? And I say new souls because the population of Earth is ever expanding, right? So where are the new souls coming from? Do souls get divided? I got questions, y'all. I got questions. Because people are dying and getting hurt over what they believe. You know, today, where I live here in Texas, there were several rallies, as they call them, because there are parents that believe they should have a choice to send their kids to school instead of doing online learning. And what's funny is my wife and I was like, yeah, those are people that don't like their kids, because we've been homeschooling for a long time, and, pre-pandemic and all that. So we thought it was rather funny that, these people want their kids out their house. So, I'm not really trying to judge, but the fact that they believe that they should have the right to send their kids back to school. And I am looking for something right now that I read that was really interesting, and I don't want to misquote it. Okay, I'll find it now. There was, it says, how is it that your kid can't enroll in school if they aren't vaccinated for illnesses that aren't an immediate threat, but a deadly virus with no vaccine or known cure at its height is safe for your child to go back to school? And I thought that was compelling. I thought that was very interesting because it's true, right? If your kid's not vaccinated, in many places, you either have to get a waiver of some sort or they cannot attend school. Yet, during the height of a raging, highly contagious virus, pandemic even, a lot of these parents believe they should send their kid back to school. And if you listen to my other episodes, you know how I feel about that. I am torn. On one hand, we have to keep going, right, as a society. But right now, I think we should shut the whole planet down. Shut the whole planet down. That's what these governments are for. The government can sustain the people for 3 months. If everybody stayed their ass home for 3 months, I mean, we shut everything down. Okay? But I digress. Belief, y'all. Why do you believe what you believe? That's because somebody told you what to believe when you were young. Then society, the media built upon that and reinforced it. I challenge you to challenge yourself and reshape your beliefs to better suit you now. Ask questions. Don't be deterred. Don't be afraid. And I don't think God will be upset. Whoever he or she may be, and I say it has to have no sex. It has to be a sexless entity. It is all things. Because they created flowers and rocks. Okay? They created, tigers and hummingbirds. So, these things that we believe, these beliefs that divide us, I'd like us to contribute to them falling away. And it's all in an effort for us to grow up as humans, as collectively as humans, to put these things behind us. And let's all make a conscious effort. Let's call God Day. Let the whole planet and everybody focus at the same time and get the entity that created this to show up. Remember back in the day, it seemed like God was popping, right? He sent his son down. If you believe in the Holy Bible story, the Christian story, right? He sent his son down. He was rocking miracles all over the place. Mary was showing up and all of these. What's happening now? Where is it at? Where are you at? Where are you at? They say be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. So, if I'm MIA, y'all, or dead, or God revealed himself and it drove me crazy, and you heard Mike from Mike's Opinions in a mental institution, then you know what happened. Because they say the Lord works in mysterious ways. That's what we say if we don't understand a lot, right? The Lord works in mysterious ways. God don't make no mistakes. I don't know. Because I believe the Islamic faith is the largest one, right? On planet Earth. The Catholics are strong and rich. They've been taking shit for a long time. The Baptists and whatnot, they strong here in the South. The Methodists too. And what do you think when somebody says I'm Muslim? I believe in Islamic faith. Or what do you think to yourself when you say a Jewish person or an atheist? Your beliefs automatically cast some kind of judgment on them, and you know it. Just like if you say I'm a Democrat or a Republican, or I'm black, or I'm white, right? Your beliefs dictate how you react to that. Let's change our beliefs to be more conducive to peace on earth. Because that's all I've ever wanted, y'all. And that's all I'm trying to do with this podcast, is to contribute and maybe move the needle in the right direction, so we can live as earthlings on earth in peace and in harmony. That's all I've ever wanted. So think about it. Think about why you believe what you believe. Think about the things you may want to change that you believe. And ask questions. Ask questions. I'm Mike, and you've been listening to the Mike's Opinion Podcast.
Thank you so much for listening to Mike's Opinion. Logic Unleashed.